Grady Powell, host of Forged in Fire.
Kyle Mann.
I'm G. Warner Wallace.
Kira Davis.
It's Ben Adams.
Hey, this is Dave Baker.
Carrie Pomeroli.
This is Mike Reiner.
This is Ethan Nicole.
This is Leah Morgan.
This is Graham Parker, the 5th GP, and this is why you should never.
How I got suckered in.
I'm so embarrassed that I'm here.
You're wasting your time. You got better things to do.
Never listen.
Those darling, yummy Reverend and the Reprobate.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Reverend and the Reprobate, a show about two best buds interviewing people they have no business talking to. My name's Lucas Pinkert, I'm an actual pastor, and with me, as always, is a man who stays armed with his concealed carry water gun. It's Big Dan Flip Gibson.
Yeah.
What's going on, bud?
Nothing. I'm down 12 pounds
Wow! In like 2 weeks.
in a week and a half.
Yeah.
I'm down 12 pounds.
You just like
I weighed
off?
in at 292 at the doctor and 280 this morning.
So you're just like off sugar and that's what did it?
I'm
Like
waging,
how much
I am
Laffy Taffy
waging-
were you consuming?
I'm waging a holy war, a fatwa, as it were,
Oh, wow.
on sugar and carbs in general.
Wow.
I will not. And except for tomorrow. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'm going to be having some cake.
Yeah, so happy pre-birthday.
Thank you.
We had a very special guest planned for your birthday, and then that hopefully he'll still be able to come on in the next couple of weeks.
Look, when you get to
so
a
we can
certain
hang out with
age,
him.
when you get
Yeah.
old enough, you go, like, when you're a kid, on your birthday, you want everything to be perfect.
Right.
And when you're older, you kind of just don't want to be bothered more. And when cool things happen, like, I can go buy whatever I want, and I can get it a week before and go, that's my
Sure.
birthday present.
Yeah.
So not happening on the exact day is totally fine.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
Now that
Ooh, I like your choice of candy, Camden.
you are, by the way, who's this?
Camdone
Camden.
Hernandez.
As we found out 2 Camden episodes ago, who still goes to a pediatric dentist.
I do.
And we found out the last Camden became a Star Wars episode is also
The last
here.
time you went to a dentist was you were pediatric.
No, remember I went a couple of weeks ago.
I know. Before that,
Yeah,
you were a pediatric.
Yeah, but I think we went to a family dentist, and then
Just disregard.
And then I operated on myself with a pocket knife, which you still
freak.
which is still just wigs you out so much. I love that we brought Camden a coaster, and he refuses to use it because he likes to bang his donut bottle against the table.
What were we talking about?
So you waged a holy war on sugar, though you do approve of Camden's lollipop.
I'm just glad that
Is
candy
it a
still,
Tootsie Pop or a Blow Pop?
This is a blow pop.
I'm just glad that candy is still a part
It's
of our
all
show.
that I saw.
Even though I will not be partaking. When I will
Yeah.
be
So what are you going to be
partaking
partaking?
is some American Wagyu beef jerky, which fits into my diet and is delicious.
Dang. So what's the price of the Wagyu beef
I don't know.
jerky? Depending on.
I don't know. My wife bought it,
Oh well, there you go.
but it weighs in at 3 carbs
Okay.
per 1 ounce,
Like how many carbs are you allowed to have?
like 30.
Okay, because earlier today you send out this
not good.
this APB that snacks need to be had, right? So
I think I'm still correct on that. Here you go.
yeah. So I'm gonna hold on just a second because I might need it as a palate cleanser because I went and got some snacks.
What'd you get?
Well,
Is it like?
freeze dried durian.
Let me see. I'm gonna look at it while you talk about it.
So
Oh, this looks good.
if you
I'm just
don't
gonna tell you if
know
it fits in my.
if you don't know what durian you can have
this
you,
does not fit into my diet.
Okay, well you got to try a piece of it for the show because show
try a
calories and show sugars don't count.
I'll try a piece.
So this is the most popular
This, for
fruit
record,
in the
weighs
world.
in at 24 net grams. I'm sorry, net carbs.
Per like what's
per
the serving?
3 servings per container.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to
so
eat
there's
a
a
third
bunch.
of it.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cup.
yeah. So
I'll have a bite and it'll be
so
fine.
this is the most popular fruit in the world. It is also.
Am I allowed to open this?
Oh yeah,
This
go
is-
for it.
this is
Go for it.
sealed.
It also is known as one of the stinkiest fruits in the world, and it is
Definitely has an aroma. It's not awful.
So if you were to take this particular fruit, and you were
Would you like some?
to be in a country where you could have durian or where durian grew, like you're not allowed to take it on the subway with you. You can't have it in closed
Pass that down to
spaces
him.
because they don't want you to eat it because it will make the whole thing reek of whatever this is.
All right, are we gonna try it?
There's a lot of people who
What does it smell like?
feet.
No, it smells citrusy.
Yeah.
I'm getting like banana and mango.
It's a very complex smell.
Yeah, it's kind of banana-y.
All right. So there's people get a lot of different flavors from this.
The freeze-dried is definitely... I
It's
don't know.
supposed to intensify the flavor.
It's not that strong,
No,
It has an odd aftertaste.
it does.
but it's kind of like mushy, like when once it rehydrates within your mouth. It's kind of mushy, like
It gets real mushy real
yeah,
fast.
like a banana.
It's sticking.
You need to
like,
take a
all
bigger
of my
bite.
teeth. It has like coated my mouth.
Yeah. Yep. That's rough.
It's everywhere.
That's it. Give me the beef jerky.
That's why I wanted the beef jerky over here because, we need to see how the flavor changes over time.
Yeah.
I don't like how it's changing right now.
I don't think that any of us will be able to finish this one piece of
I'm
freeze
not.
dry. This is the world's most popular fruit.
Why?
Yeah.
Is it
tastes-
because they don't have anything else available to them?
Also, it's something. Also, like insects are one of the top proteins consumed worldwide because
Yeah.
of availability, and
It's
it's got a ton of protein, and they're actually pretty good for you.
it's like if
I'll eat a spider. I don't care.
so here's what I'm getting
Hey,
off of
beef
this.
jerky me.
Yeah. So
You
here's
grab,
the deal.
grab me a piece.
You know how New Colton's got the Tootsie Pop, the blow pop? What did you call it? Colton before the mistakes?
Yeah, before all the mistakes.
So, no, Camden's...
I love you, Colton.
Camden's got his...
You're not listening to this.
Camden's got his blow pop, and the blow pop is gum that's wrapped in sugar.
I also
Right?
have Costco bulk beef jerky. This is for Daddy.
So this
share it with
tastes
you
like
guys.
somebody freeze-dried a blow pop, but the blow pop was a banana-flavored blow pop, and in the middle, instead of gum, they put a piece of garlic. that's this tastes like
A piece
bananas
of
and garlic.
that identifies as styrofoam.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I'm glad we tried it together.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not.
Also, I think we make beef jerky a thing.
I agree.
On our show.
Oh yeah, I'm fine
We
with
eat
that.
beef jerky.
If you own a beef
talk
jerky
Star Wars.
company and want to sponsor us, you just let us know. We'll happily trade you this bag of free-dried durian for whatever beef jerky products you want to give to us.
But yeah, that was fun. That was fun though. I don't think I've tried durian. I have heard about how stinky it is.
Yeah.
I've never had freeze dried for sure. I'm not sure I've had freeze dried fruit. Period.
Oh, freeze-dried fruit is amazing.
I have had freeze dried Skittles.
Yeah, at
and-
my place, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and M&Ms or something else. There's a
we
bunch
did
of freeze dried
Skittles,
candy, which
yep.
are oddly
Peach rings,
pretty cool.
freeze-dried Jolly Ranchers.
I don't think I had that.
Do you freeze dry stuff, or do you buy these?
No, we've got the church
They get 'em at
hosts
the
a
farmer's
farmer's
market.
market on Saturday, and there's
Oh,
a lady
that's where
who's
you
got
get
all
'em?
the freeze-dried stuff. Yeah,
It's oddly
is-
pretty cool.
this is rough. I don't know who eats this. Maybe Alana, but you don't want a tea made out of durian. Durian tea is like bananas and garlic. And now it's bananas and garlic and apparently really expensive beef that's all just like floating around in my mouth.
Yeah.
I don't
The
like
beef
it.
is winning the battle for me.
Yeah.
This has like thoroughly cleansed, so I'm good.
What do you use to get durian out of your mouth? Red lollipop. That'll
It's
do it.
watermelon.
I don't do it every time. Oh, it's not cherry. It's watermelon.
Is that your
No, cherries are
of the
disgusting.
3 things you've eaten in the last 5 minutes? What are your
No,
favorite?
that
Rank-
was freaking delicious.
Yeah, the beef jerky,
Wagyu.
durian, blow pop. Is that how you rank them?
No, it's beef jerky, blow pop durian.
All right. That makes sense.
Well, there we go. Mystery solved. Is freeze dried durian good?
No,
I don't think I would say it's bad.
I would.
I would just think it's an odd combination with beef jerky.
If I needed to eat it to survive, it has enough flavor profile to where I would be like, that tastes like a meal instead of,
Or
I just ate a piece of freeze-dried fruit.
honestly, if I weren't waging a fatwa on sugar, I'd probably finish that. I probably would.
I mean,
Look, I was raised there. You don't
Listen.
you don't waste food.
that's not a third of the bag.
I know.
That's not even a third of a third. That's
I'm being-
not but like 3 carbs.
I'm being very strict. So much so that I lost 12 pounds in a week and a half.
congratulations. By the way, here.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to get to abs by Christmas.
By this Christmas?
Yeah. Well, and
Look.
frankly, I'm not after the abs.
If you're gonna lose 12 pounds in a week,
I don't think I can keep this up.
I'm probably can drag my big wagon over to the gym and try to work out some.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that too. I haven't yet.
You've just been
like
waging a
not
war against
eating.
carbs.
Not eating / drinking a lot of coffee, and then when
Yeah.
I do eat, well, it fits into my diet, into my goals.
That's good. It's nice to have goals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got Camden on a goals track right now as our unpaid intern.
I
I'm
will
on
be
chapter 4.
Whoa!
of
all right.
of extreme ownership.
Of extreme ownership, yeah.
Nice
He's on
job.
chapter 4. He didn't have the book started this morning, but I had him listen. I was like, by tomorrow, I want you to listen to chapter 1. He comes in like 10 minutes later because I had him test some headphones, and he was like, I listened to chapter 1. I was like, what do you think? He's like, so they were in the Battle of Ramadi. I was like, yeah, I know this. I know the story. Yeah, so talk to us.
What's a takeaway that you have from that? What's something that you think is cool, or
Yeah.
something you're going to apply, or something
The
you
stories
didn't
are
like?
cool.
Okay.
They're my favorite part.
Right, but it's not a war memoir, which they say in the beginning of the book.
Yeah, they do.
This is not a war memoir. This is to teach you leadership principles from the battlefield that you can apply to business.
Incoming.
Yeah, pretty much. There are a couple of times, and it's really weird when you listen to the audiobook because there are a couple of times where they use sound effects. Have you gotten any of those yet? Yeah, so they'll be talking about like a firefight, and then all of a sudden you'll hear, brah, 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 and it's whoa. You kind of like duck, but for the most part, they don't have any of that in there.
Incoming life
Yeah.
lesson.
Wah. Incoming leadership principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious, what takeaways do you have so far? Other than you like the stories.
They're entertaining.
They are. I think that's why it sticks.
You know, if you read Extreme Ownership and you think it's entertaining, I think that's a W.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What'd you see?
The light flickered.
Oh.
Okay, you're fine. You're fine. You're not in the middle of Ramadi. We're totally
I
safe.
just noticed something.
Yeah. So, takeaways from Extreme Ownership so far, up to chapter 4.
You gotta take ownership.
Oh man,
That's what the whole book is about. He says it like a million times.
he does say it a million times. So, what does that mean? You want to give us like a working definition of what extreme ownership is, since that's the only answer we're gonna pull out of you, like you're in Sunday school and we're like, hey, what do you think? And you're like, just like, man,
Hey, how was school? It's fun.
yeah, I don't know,
like the
maybe Jesus.
book is-
You think Jesus
Jesus
is the
did
right
something.
answer?
The book is good. There's stories and you
Yeah.
like them. It's good.
Yep. Have you seen the little thing? It's this little girl, and it's been
Little Mermaid?
and it's like a reel that I've seen several times. But it's this little girl, and she just looks totally exhausted.
It's a real what?
And her mom asks her, "What did you learn at school today?" And she's like, "About Martin Luther King Jr." And she's like, "Yeah, what did he do?" And the little girl goes, "He died for our sins." And she's like, "Nope, nope, nope."
No, I haven't seen that.
Nope. Yeah, I'll have to send that to you the next time it pops up. So, what did you learn other than ownership? What's the
You gotta be a good leader.
Okay? Give us a little bit more.
How,
than,
if I was
than
like,
meaningless
if I was like,
platitudes,
Well, no,
Camden.
I'm saying what happened.
so if I'm in a position of leadership, how do I be a good leader? What's one thing I can do?
Make sure that everybody knows what they're doing.
Okay. Yeah.
Make sure everyone understands like their job.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is that chapter 1?
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah.
Chapter 1 and chapter 2.
Yeah. Chapter 1 is really
Oh, no,
fascinating.
chapter 2 is about, like, there's no bad...
There's no bad teams,
yeah,
only bad leaders. Yep. Yep. You may have bad individuals on the team, but if the team is failing, it's because you as a leader have set them up to fail. And I want to push back against that, but like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, nah. Whenever I've had a bad team, it's been because I sucked, not because the whole team did.
Yeah.
If you get a team of 10 people, it's
Rowing a boat.
easy as the leader to say like, oh, all 10 of these people won't do what I want them to do, instead of looking at yourself and saying, all right, maybe 9 of them would do what I wanted them to do if I like clearly communicated and set things up. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Tell Danley about the about the boats. 'Cause
Yeah,
this is
so-
Camden's favorite part so far, as he
So
joyously
they're-
comes into my office and tells me this.
So, there's a bunch of boats, and each team is like categorized
This
by
is
how
in
tall
SEAL
they
training. Yeah.
are. They're categorized by how tall they are, and the shortest one, no, all of them are like they just have a Roman numeral on the side. But the shortest people, they're called the Smurfs, and there's a Smurf on the side of their boat.
They have a Smurf on it. It doesn't get a Roman numeral. It just gets a Smurf, and it's all the shortest
job.
guys in the
Good
crew. do
job,
that.
I would
boys.
want to be on the Smurf team.
So
I don't think
Camden
I would be, but
Camden comes in and he's like, "Hey, did you know on all the short guys get on the Smurf team?" I was like, "Yes, Camden."
I don't think I said did you know, but
Did you know what? All right, so yeah, so Camden, you're already on chapter 4, so you're listening pretty rapidly.
That's pretty awesome.
You know why he's listening to this book?
What speed do you listen
Because he got a library card.
I do have a library card.
Yeah. What speed do you
What
listen
speed?
at? How fast do you listen to this book?
at? Is it 1x, which is normal?
I think I'm on 1.6.
Wow.
Boom. He's in the speed listeners class.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm still like 1.15.
Which
It's a little bit better.
contest is not anything. That they just put that degree there to make people feel better. That it actually is no change at all.
I do feel better.
Yeah, for sure. You feel like, I'm gonna finish this book, this 22-hour book, 10 minutes before I could
Except
have.
now what I'm doing is I'm reading out loud to Heather. We read Tress of the Emerald Sea.
Okay.
And then we're 5 chapters into Mistborn.
The first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think so far?
It's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Then.
Brandon Sanderson is awesome.
Yeah. The world of Mistborn is a lot more intricate and a lot more fast-paced than Stormlight, even though they all exist kind of in the Cosmere.
He takes his time much more with Stormlight.
Yeah, like you really get the concepts, whereas in Mistborn, I found myself kind of like trying to go to the back and be like, oh, okay, well, they're burning iron. All right, which one does this do? And then, looking at that to make sure that I'm, thinking about things properly.
Yeah.
But yeah, great books.
Yeah, so my
the
point
Mistborn
is
cool.
My point is I was listening at 1.15 speed. That's not what I'm reading at.
No.
Because I'm making lots of errors, and then I'll find myself doing a voice, and I go, wait, that's not the voice that I use, and I got to go back. And then, of course, I got to reread the line in the correct voice.
It makes you appreciate voice actors, though.
I got like Peter Falk
Yeah.
in my repertoire.
Yep.
There's a bunch. I got a character based off of Jack Nicholson. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter right now, but
Yeah. I'm
having fun with the
Who's
voices.
Kelsier?
He's got kind of an affable. He's not based on anybody.
Okay.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
But he's got an affable. He just kind of laughs at everything, and
Very confident.
he's very confident. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but like that. So the guy that reads the Stormlight stuff gets a lot of flack because even though he's like one of the best selling audiobook readers, his voice is very, very different than most people that read audiobooks. It's very, very distinct. But if you think about all the different characters that he has to read as, like how many times do you get to a line and then you're like, blah, blah, blah. And you get midway through and you're like, oh, crap. This is like you've read a paragraph before it says who said it, right?
Yeah. I almost have to.
Can you imagine doing that professionally?
No.
Like how much you would have to like read and highlight and all of that to know like
you'd have
what
to
you're
like
doing?
read the book. I've thought about this. You'd have to like read the book through already, and maybe as you're going, make notes of this is Kelsier. This is
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
Or
then-
you got a bunch of takes.
And then like
It should be a nightmare for
doing it
editing.
over multiple books that are
Yeah,
like years apart.
maintaining
Like,
the-
all right, so the last book Sanderson put out was in what, like 16, and now he's doing another one, another Stormlight in 24.
Yeah.
Is when it's coming out. All right, it's been what 8 years since you done that voice, so now you
Is
got
that how long it's been since Rhythm of
I don't
War?
think it's been
Okay.
that long since Rhythm of War. I think it's probably been like 4 years. But now you got to go back 4 years and be like, oh crap, how did I do this person's voice, and what did I do for this person's voice, and all of that
We
stuff.
got
It
to
seems
get
like
you
a
on
ton
the
of stuff.
Sanderson train
Yeah.
after Extreme Ownership.
Yep.
You got it. You can extremely own your copy of Stormlight.
Well, it's time to get to the crux of today's show. We've talked about some of our favorite things from nerd culture, as we do as members of the Christian Nerd HQ. I don't know if you can see this. Our our lovely logo, little hacker there on the CNHQ T-shirt, which was gifted to me by Ashley.
Yeah.
From Fangirling Over Jesus.
She has some really awesome apparel.
Yeah, she does. She does a great job with
She does.
with merch, and so this was something that she designed for the network founders, which was really cool. And before we hop into stuff with Camden, I want to tell you about one of the other podcasts that's on the Christian Nerd HQ network.
Hi guys, Ricky Pope here from the Christian Nerds Unite podcast. On the show, we dive deep into our nerdy fandoms and look at them through the lens of our faith by chatting with Christian content creators and experts who love comics, science, video games, media, sci-fi, and fantasy, discovering how their faith shapes their creative work and their lives. You can listen on your favorite podcast app or find links to everything at ChristianNerdsUnite.com.
So Dan has opened up his second bag of beef jerky during that time, and none of us have finished our durian.
So good.
Yeah. All right.
How much beef jerky is too much beef jerky?
All of it.
No, it's not true.
No, you would have to have all of the beef jerky. The proper amount of beef jerky to have is N+1, which is the number.
I've been told about this equation.
Yeah, it's the number. It's the same equation that my wife was like, "How are you going to know when you have enough bases?" And I was like, "The equation for enough bases is N+1."
I got it. N is the number of bases you have.
Yeah, I have currently. +1 is it, and that is when it's the same equation for enough beef jerky. Yeah.
Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
I've got like 4 or 5 different bags. I have one at the office, one in the truck.
Yeah.
Well, now it's inside.
Right. And
I've got
you
one
need,
for me. It's Wagyu.
You
which
need
I'm
at
sharing.
least one more before you have enough.
I got it. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I think so.
That's great.
Thank you.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, let's talk about Star Wars Episode 7.
I really
the
like
Force
that. That's like my favorite of the theme songs.
Is the theme song
Yeah.
For Star Wars?
Yeah. Yeah, the theme song. Like, it's your favorite of the Star Wars theme songs or just
Just
of
the
theme
songs in
songs?
general.
What kind
Star
of
Wars.
what kind of audio setup do you have at home or wherever you're watching this?
Are you
these
listening to
movies?
this with PodPods?
No, I mostly just use my TV speakers.
Okay.
I did watch, I think 2 of them with PS5 headphones.
Yeah, and?
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
But that's
Man,
never,
when it hits, where it says a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and it fades out. Yeah, when it hits, oh man,
It's so good.
it still gives me chills.
So Kirsten and I have been, because of the young baby Levi is sleeping in a room that we share a wall with, right? Our Apple TV lets us hook up our PodPods to the Apple TV.
I found that out the other day too.
It is so great because we can both be watching it. Both of our headphones are connected to the Apple TV. We have independent volume control. I will friggin' crank my volume up, turn it on the cancellation mode because we got the baby monitor in front of us. If he's screaming or something, it'll show us.
And you'll see on
whatever.
the little LED light.
Yeah, right. So we
Oh,
got
he's
the,
real mad.
Yeah, we got the baby monitor where we can see it to see if he's squirming or whatever. But when we're watching movies, it is a beautiful surround sound experience. And now they've got the spatial audio as an option to where, like, if you turn your head, the sound moves around and with your head. So cool.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things about the Apple
Pretty
TV
awesome.
and the PodPods.
I love my PodPods.
The
too.
PodPods are so good. So you listen to...
I hope I don't lose these.
Yeah, please don't. You listen to this with just through your TV speakers?
Yeah, this was just on my TV.
I've lost
right.
2 pairs so far.
So in did you lose the pair that I gave you?
No.
Okay, you still have that one working PodPod?
Yeah, even that one doesn't really work, and
That's a bummer.
It's around, but
So Camden,
That's my name.
Campton.
we need a rating on this. All right. What's our rating system? Because, and I don't think you get to decide. You've gone way dark on the rating
there's
systems.
not really anything dark in this one, so
You oh really? Did you make it to the end of the movie?
yeah. I mean, yeah. A couple people die, but
All right,
about,
Camden.
well,
yeah, Han Solo dies. I forgot about that.
How do you forget about that? So on a 1 to 10 dead Han Solos, because
That's not what I said. I
that's
just
where you're
remembered that Han
going.
Solo
I
died.
can't believe that's what you want to rank
That's
this
not
out
what
of.
I said.
How about 1
I want
to
to
10?
do
But
1 out of
what?
10 BB-8s.
But 1 out of 10 dead Han Solos, because that's what you
BB-8s.
want.
Or 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10 Han Solo
not that one,
lightsaber
it's-
wounds to the gut. How many do you give it?
I don't know. This one was pretty good, but I don't know if I liked it just because of like the quality of like the effects and the camera and stuff was so much
newer.
better.
We're not
Yeah,
asking
'cause
why you
looks
liked
like
it.
newer.
We're asking 1 out of 10
But-
dead Han Solo lightsaber gut wounds because that's how you want to rate these.
I said I wanted to rate it.
Golly.
1 out of 10 son betrayals, killing their father who just loves them. How many would you rate it? This is the way you want to do it.
Let's go
Your
with
dark
a
eyes.
7.
7?
So the highest one so far has been Return, which was 8, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. Return was 8. 7.5 was given to Empire Strikes Back and Revenge of the Sith. But all right, so this gets a 7.
is
So this
right
is on
below-
par with the
first one.
Yeah, with the first one.
Interesting.
And Attack
New
of the
Hope.
Clones.
Interesting, because one could say that this movie is on par with the first movie. Almost kind of a remake.
It's like if you were to, when you used to write on stuff, right? Like at the
Yeah.
bank, and you'd write on this white copy, and then there'd be a yellow copy and
Yeah.
a pink copy underneath it, where
Then
the-
you'd lose it,
the
and they'd be like, "Oh,
carbon
here
would
you go.
transfer.
You had a backup. Here you go."
Here's your carbon copy of this page.
Yeah.
It's kind of what this felt like to us, but
Although, I will say I agree that I had a lot of fun. I
this
saw
was
I saw
great,
this
yeah.
one in theaters like 7 times or something.
yeah, because it was the first like really exciting Star Wars that we had. Because I remember watching 2 and 3 in the theater and thinking like, I gotta finish this,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I remember 3 being pretty good and thinking like, all right, they did a decent job wrapping it
I
up.
wasn't stoked about it.
right, but a brand new Star Wars story
From a director that I like, J.J. Abrams.
who I've kind of turned to the corner on. Like I really liked him when this came out,
So,
and now
so I'm saying
like,
in
ugh.
that I'm saying in that time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For
And even
sure.
then, I still like a lot of stuff that he did, but
Yeah.
I can't point to anything he's done recently.
Yeah, my favorite quote since this movie was released, and I think
Yeah,
I shared
from
this
him,
last time.
yeah.
But on Collider, or he made a comment. It was covered in a Collider article that we should have had a plan when we made the Star Wars sequel trilogy. We should have had a plan going into it.
We don't want to poison your experience either.
No,
We
but
want to
it's
get your candid
you.
experience.
You are on the biggest hill of the Star Wars roller coaster right now in this trilogy. Like
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No, it's nothing. It's just
it's just that like it's these 3 movies are a wild ride that 1, 2, and 3, nor 4, 5, and 6 really are.
There's a lot of things that people love about all 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing good or bad
Yeah.
about it. It just is. We disagree, and I don't want to tell you which one.
Yeah.
On the next movie, but we disagree.
Yeah, we do pretty vehemently,
Yeah.
if we can use a word that our Christian named Evil gave us. So tell us, what are the things that you liked about Star Wars Episode 7?
I liked
The
Poe.
Force Awakens. You liked Poe?
Yeah, Poe Dameron.
He was cool.
Yeah.
And he's sarcastic. That
And
was
his
funny.
black X-wing.
So
Yeah.
if you were going to draw some lines of congruency, who do you think Poe was modeled after?
Like from A New Hope.
Yeah.
Probably Han Solo.
Yep. Because that is the one criticism that people have about Episode 7, or the one major criticism, is that it feels
The only thing
like
that anyone's ever said.
I know, right? But it feels like new Episode 4. That like it kind of pushed a reset button and that they used that formula again. So yeah, Poe comes across his opening scene. What did you think about that? The opening scene of the thing with him staring down Kylo Ren.
That was funny, and the stuff he says. I don't remember exactly what he says, but I
Yeah,
just
who
remember
talks?
being
Who
funny.
talks first? You talk first. Do
Oh,
I
yeah,
talk
yeah,
first?
yeah.
Which one of us is supposed to? Okay. Yep. That was pretty intense. What do you think of Kylo Ren? Because he's pretty powerful and prominent in that first scene too.
Yeah.
Really?
He just seemed kind of there.
All right.
See, I was so stoked with the mask and the
He looked kind of basic. Like
Like he had bleach blonde hair and was, you know,
No,
He gets,
because
coffee,
like
he gets coffee from
some of
Starbucks.
like he's got a Hydro flask.
some of the costume designs in Star Wars are like insane, but he
Yeah.
just looked kind of boring.
I do think that they were heavily leaning into the he wants to be his grandfather.
Yeah,
thing.
I could definitely see
Yeah.
the inspiration of Darth Vader and like his clothes and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but he just looked like he looked boring.
What? Okay, so what did you think the first time that you saw Kylo Ren?
I was very excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? When you were watching that first scene for the first time, do you
It was
remember?
the same thing like when Vader walks out, you know, and you go, oh my gosh, what is this guy?
Yeah. So I felt, and when we were watching this in the theaters, I felt like he came across at the very beginning as a step above Vader.
I didn't think so.
Because, well, the reason why is because he, you know, they shoot that laser bolt at him and he just
he
stops
stops
it
it.
in midair.
Yeah,
And I was
that
like,
is really
oh,
cool.
crap. Like, we haven't seen anything like that before. Like, that's intense.
And he has this lightsaber, looks like it's just going to pull apart at any point.
Yeah.
It's barely controlled.
Yep. And then he's real because, you know, what you
it's
learn.
very chaotic.
Yeah,
is
and
it
what you
feels.
learn about the Force through episodes 1 through 6 is that the dark side is fueled by anger. And then when you watch, like, I know I've talked a lot about the animated series and those kinds of things, but we had watched, I mean, that was the only Star Wars that we had. The new stories were there in the animated series stuff. And the way that the anger of the Sith or those that were, like, you know, taken by the dark side just really fueled their power. Watching him have that temper tantrum that he has in the middle of
Oh yeah,
the
he has some like
dude, that in my mind, I was like, this is going to be a scary bad guy because if he's this angry and the dark side can channel this
Didn't he
type of
get
anger
stabbed
from
by
him,
Rey?
then he's gonna go and do like it's gonna be intense. So that first scene, you were not impressed by Kylo Ren.
Not really. I mean, the fact that he like just fully like locked up Poe and like did catch the bolt, that was kind of cool. And I was thinking like, so like the like bullet thing is like stuck in midair. What if someone were to like walk into it?
It kills him.
Yeah, it'd probably kill him.
Yeah.
Would it like remain frozen or would it be like absorbed? Like
My guess is it would be absorbed. The energy would transfer, but
So-
I don't know.
Yeah, that it would, because it is just energy that's being shot out.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends on how much energy it took for them to,
die.
yeah, or dissipate. Because there are bolts that go through others. You know, if you got people stacked close enough together,
It's a good question.
which we see
I
that
don't
in
know.
some of the sniper
And we see
stuff
it in
the
X-Men,
series.
different,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
with the bullets that he kind of walks by and kind of points at him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because at that point, I guess he's moving faster. His energy's more. It's probably the physics.
Yeah, he just like
yeah. You're talking about like Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
Yeah,
Yeah. When
Yep.
he breaks out Magneto and he just kind of points the bullets and
in
moves
different
everything.
directions.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so unimpressed with Kylo Ren, though you thought that power was cool.
yeah.
Yeah. You did mention BB-8. BB-8's a prominent player in that first scene, as he also is given
Yeah,
secret
he-
instructions in a very R2-D2-esque sort of
then
way.
He runs around and only like talks to certain people and
Yep.
I didn't even realize that it was like the exact same movie as
Yeah,
A
now
New
that,
Hope. But
yeah,
now that
they're
you say
saying it, it's weird, right?
everything I say, I'm like, which is exactly like that. And
But I think it's
Phasma-
interesting that
Phasma's
you...
new.
Yeah, Phasma is new.
Phasma's a little
I do
different.
think it's new, or it's interesting that you gave them the same rating without drawing some of those parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Phasma is new and different. So we start with Poe. You get introduced to Poe. You get Kylo Ren. You get BB-8, and then the next thing you know, you have Phasma and this
shiny
weird
stormtrooper.
stormtrooper. Yes. Do you know anything about her backstory, Danley?
I did, but no, I don't remember.
Okay, so there's a whole book called Phasma where they explore her backstory. There was a 5-issue comic run that was all about her backstory. Long story short, she grew up on a planet that was decimated by the Empire and became really ruthless and cutthroat and became kind of like the warrior princess of this one tribe. And then when given the opportunity to go away with General Hux's dad to go help him, or to save her friends, she kills her friends and goes with General Hux so they can't tell the other people that the Empire is about to come and wipe out their civilization.
Dang.
She is like completely ruthless, evil, like just bad to the bone warrior chick. So
and completely irrelevant in the story.
yeah, I know. It's so weird, and they have
She's in like
such
3 scenes total.
well, and they've got such a great actress that's playing her with Gwendolyn Christie, who she was in Wednesday. She was in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And she's Captain Phasma, and
She really won over everybody in Game of Thrones.
man, but she and have you seen Wednesday?
Nah.
She's so good in it,
dude.
And it's a fun and it's a really good series.
I watched a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And bailed.
Yeah, we stuck with it through the first season. We ended up really digging it by the end, but that just shows like the breadth of what she can do as an actress.
Bread.
Breadth, not quite bread. Eat your durian. So there, it felt weird to me to have such a talented actress in a role that like kind of for the course of this movie. So cool.
Yeah,
like you were talking about, incredible costume design, has this really, really engaging, intense backstory that they've created for her and promoted through the extended universe, through the comic books and in the books. And then you see her on screen and she's just kind of like, put your helmet back on.
Report to my office.
Yeah.
And we also see the introduction of Finn as John Boyega.
Yep.
Who becomes incredibly famous after this movie.
Yeah, and becomes, throughout the course of this trilogy, one of the most controversial characters in Star Wars for several reasons, which we'll certainly explore. So John Boyega, you get to meet Finn. What are your initial impressions of Finn?
Yeah, what's his title? It's FN or his
I don't remember. It was like FN and then a bunch of numbers.
158 or something like that.
Yeah.
Is he like the first stormtrooper to just decide, nah?
I don't think he is, but he certainly is in like the cinematic universe. It's the first time we see him see a stormtrooper in one of the movies that does that.
That's the first time you see a stormtrooper take their helmet off, I'm pretty sure.
Other than
FN 2187.
Yeah, other than Luke and Han doing it when they're impersonating stormtroopers.
Yeah, this is the first like real stormtrooper.
You saw it often in Spaceballs, which we probably need to wrap up this whole series with you watching Spaceballs.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, thanks.
I think I have seen Spaceballs, but it's been a while. I don't remember any of it.
Watch out. That's just such. Now I've got that song stuck in my head. That song's stuck in my head.
I think we do Mel Brooks after this.
Yeah, we got to.
Maybe we do like 3 movies.
Yeah.
Let's not go crazy.
We can start with Spaceballs because it's relative
but what
to the
about
series.
Producers and Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles?
I mean, we'll get
4.
there. Yeah, no. Well, I'll say we'll start with Spaceballs, then we'll just kind of see how things go. So you get the first stormtrooper kind of takes his helmet off. You've got him defecting, then he frees Poe. What are your thoughts on all that stuff?
Whenever he first took his helmet off, I thought it was another like in A New Hope where they're just like impersonating a stormtrooper.
Oh yeah, you thought it was
I thought it was that, but then she came up and she didn't like immediately shoot him, and she was just like, put your helmet back on.
Yeah.
So I was like,
she was like, who are you?
This guy's like an actual stormtrooper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think they like could take their helmet off. I thought it was like
they're not supposed to. It's very like Mandalorian-esque the way that they've got to approach all that.
Yeah, she was like, who gave you permission to take your helmet off?
And then we also see the return of Han Solo, Princess Leia. Han Solo and Princess Leia. Much older. So for you, I'm curious because you just started this a month ago or whatever.
Yeah.
The last time you saw Leia, she was a baby.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, Leia was just an infant, and now she's getting a discounted coffee, a Whataburger.
So what'd you think about that? Like, for instance, with the first time that Han Solo shows up, he says, "We're back."
Yeah. I wasn't expecting them to be in it. I'm pretty sure they're in, like, on Disney Plus. Whenever you like click on it, I'm pretty sure it shows them. But I like completely forgot about that whenever they came up, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's Han Solo and Chewbacca! Wow!"
The cheers that went up in the audience in the movie theaters whenever Han Solo and Chewbacca came on screen was insane.
Yeah,
everybody just went nuts. But we're skipping over the introduction of like the main character in
Rey.
in the stories.
Who cares?
Yeah. So what I was gonna say, like, what are your initial impressions of Rey as you see her?
She's fine. It doesn't like. How can she use the Force so well if she like just discovered it? Also,
Good question.
Hold on, I have another.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
answer
oh
that.
yeah.
No.
You hold on. He's got another. Go for it.
I'm holding.
It'll make sense. Yeah, you can answer that one. And
No,
then
no,
I'll
no,
ask the other.
no. Ask the other question.
How is all of this stuff like the Force and the Jedi and Luke Skywalker all just become like a rumor in like Han Solo's lifetime?
Yeah, just like in 20 years. I think a lot that it all becomes a rumor the same way that when we think about things that happened, like let's say, you're listening to Extreme Ownership, right? Some of the things that happened post 9/11 that were like huge deals, if we were to try to explain them to you, would have no impact on you at all because you didn't live through it. They sound too fantastical to be like an actual thing. For instance,
There's a lot of disinformation too.
right? Yeah, but and there's so much of it now that like moves into the legend status, right? That looking from a political standpoint, that now people look back on George W. Bush's presidency with a relative amount of fondness, right? Even people that are on the opposing side of the political aisle, it was not the case then. Like it was intense, the amount of people before 9/11 that had this like terrible view of him. There was a ton of infighting. Post 9/11, like the whole country got on this kumbaya kick where not only was like the flag this thing that everybody like cherished, but that is when we really started seeing national anthems in front of all of the games, and like everybody, like the players were coming out holding the flag alongside first responders and all this kind of stuff, which now
We're going hard with nationalism.
well, patriotism. I don't know that we were worshiping country, which is
didn't
what
say
national-
worshiping.
No, that's what nationalism is the worship of
You
country.
put those words in my mouth.
You said those words. So, no, we weren't there. But to think of that, like that right now in the current political climate and cultural climate, that's something that I think for a lot of people your age, that if we were to say like, oh, this is what it used to be like, that seems a little bit like good old day syndrome. But we could show you the things and that kind of stuff. Even more to the extreme is that Luke Skywalker is the only Jedi that anybody's ever heard of. Really, the Jedi have been out of things at this point for like 40 years, and they think of him more as a Wyatt Earp type character or somebody like that.
Rey
That's
didn't
like
even
a
know that
person
he
from
actually
myth.
existed.
Yeah,
She was like, oh, I thought he was like a story.
yeah,
A legend, was what
Yeah.
you're saying. I
Yeah.
think also there still is the suspension of belief.
sure,
That it's sci-fi, and you kind of go, all right,
yeah,
everyone forgot. Okay,
yeah.
there's some of that too.
Yeah, and you also have to remember it's like it's not even centralized to like a country or a state or even one singular planet. Like there's a guy with magic powers and a light stick that saved the galaxy, and everybody's like,
All right,
I mean,
Sounds about right.
they left,
Sure.
So like maybe he did.
do I still have to clean this poodoo up?
Yeah.
I go, yeah, you
Well,
still
you-
have.
you love
yeah,
poodoo.
Yeah, we still gotta fix these droids.
Yeah,
And go, all right.
to get to your other question, and I know we've talked about this a little bit before in some other conversations we've had about Star Wars. Freddie Prinze Jr. has a wonderful answer to this. He plays Kanan Jarrus in the Rebel series, and that if there is a dark side of the Force that is like rising up, that the Force is meant to self-balance. Right? And so if there's somebody on the dark side that's really rising up, the Force will then allow a person on the light side to have the ability to come into match it. It's the reason that Luke with
Did you say
3
come into
years
magic?
come to match it.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the reason
coming to
that
magic. I was
Yeah,
like, whoa.
it's the reason that Luke within 3 or 4 years of training was able to fight Darth Vader and Palpatine. It's
unless
the same
Dagobah
reason.
has altered time.
Yeah, it's the same reason that Anakin, in just a few years of training, even when he was too old and all of that, that his light side of the Force, whenever he was there, was able to throw things so far into balance that the fate of the galaxy, one way or the other, depended on his choice in that room with Mace Windu and Palpatine. That, like, you know, he had the option. Whichever he decides, that's the side that's going to win. When both of those guys were at that point more powerful than him in the Force. So it's that effort to balance, and that it is always going to be that. If the light side gets, you know, too proud, too haughty, too many people, then the dark side comes in and goes to match it, which is the reason you get some of the really powerful Sith that we hear about all throughout.
What's funny is it almost seems like
stuff.
the balance of the Force, which we hear about a lot throughout the movies,
almost
always ends up with negation.
Yeah,
it's just the Force just goes like, all right, no more Jedi, no more Sith.
Yep,
we rise one up, they wipe each other out.
Yeah.
That's pretty dark, huh, Camden? That sounds good.
Boy, that
probably sounds great to you.
Yeah.
You and your dark mind, your dark feelings. Hey,
and
Camden, if you were a Jedi, or if you had
desires.
magic, if you had Jedi powers, would you be Sith or Jedi? Would you be evil or Paragon? Would you be Trump or Biden? I got him good with that one.
I think I'm leaving that in. Don't answer it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave that one as a question mark. Which one was which? I don't know,
and
it doesn't matter.
If you are a Paragon, how many sides do you have?
Okay. Would you be good? Would you use your powers for good or for awesome?
There you go. The strong bad question.
Probably good. I'd like to think so.
Good.
Yeah.
Good boy.
So
good man.
All right.
As you're reading Extreme Ownership.
Yeah, so we've talked about, you know, the new characters, how they're introduced, the old characters. You're met with Rey. I will say this: Rey for me has a one-up on Luke Skywalker. Whenever we first meet him and are introduced to the character, and here's why. Luke Skywalker wants to go into Tosche Station and gets a power converter.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Rey,
with you on that. You're talking about the beginning of
Rey beat off a couple of assassins with a giant stick who came.
I was wondering about the stick. Is there anything special about it, or is it legit just a stick?
That we might have to cut. No, it's just a stick. It's a weapon.
Yeah, it's like a weird pole.
Yeah, it looks like a modified.
It never does
stick.
anything. I'm with you. It's like a whole design.
Yeah,
it does something, but it feels to me like junk that she found.
That's what I figured it was.
She's like, this is a really good whooping stick, which girls,
which is what
girls
was.
do.
Yeah,
well, with girls always they pick a good whooping stick,
but
mostly when they become mothers.
She's opposite from Luke in the sense that, like, she defends herself. Like, she was able to get away. She has a basic skill set.
She's been taking care of herself for
like she's a survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Luke was not.
Yeah.
And
Luke
so
was pretty whiny in the
it's
beginning.
much more believable to me that, like, that the Force,
the power converters.
Yeah, the Force picked Rey out of nowhere, and that she was able to do stuff with a lightsaber. Where I was like, yeah, I buy that. Whereas Luke being like, how can I see with the blast shield's down? Like, I don't care.
Shut up, millennial.
Yeah. You're not taking extreme ownership of your situation right now,
That's
Luke.
right. That's a great example. That's a great example of extreme ownership.
Obi-Wan's trying to decentralize command, and Luke is just whining
Rey
about.
took extreme ownership.
She did.
And Luke did not.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm with you on that.
Thanks, Jocko.
After that, I like Luke, but
yeah, I do think that there was a lot of.
Rey's a likable character.
She is, and I think that she really helped Kirsten get into Star Wars. Because I made her watch these movies, like, leading up to Episode 9 coming out, because we were going to watch that together. So she had never watched any Star Wars before.
She's real big into equity.
Yeah, nope. But we watched stuff. She liked Princess Leia. Princess Leia was cool. There wasn't really that brave female character in 1, 2, and 3. Like Padme was in 2, but in 1 and 3, she's not. She does show a lot of courage in 2, but in 1 and 3, she really doesn't. Rey, all throughout the sequel trilogy, shows an incredible amount of gumption and intestinal fortitude all the way through. And so at first I was like, ugh. And then after talking to Kirsten about it, I was like, okay, rewatched them. And that kind of helped me to turn the corner on it. 'Cause she was like, I really like it because of her. Like, I'm into Star Wars because of Rey. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And really, Star Wars is for kids. And if this is another area where, okay, here's a cool female Jedi that young girls can get behind that creates Star Wars fans, I'm into it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Rey didn't feel forced as a character. And she was cool.
In the first one, I was very interested in the development of where she would go. Yeah. Which brings us into later movies.
Yeah, which we'll talk about whenever we get to 8 and 9, because her story arc is intense. Yeah. And so is Kylo's. Like their stuff is really, really well. Maz Kanata is another character that we meet in Star Wars Episode 7. What are your thoughts on Maz? Maz is the
she's
tiny
the little one,
with the great big eyeballs, who finds, well, actually they're really tiny eyeballs.
Yeah, but then she like turns her little thing and then
who has like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, which is Anakin's lightsaber, which is what Rey ends up using. And Danley's correct. That's exactly what they are.
In case you heard.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't even hear what you said.
Don't you worry about it. But put in the comments if you heard what Danley said and whether or not you agree. So, because that was an odd design choice.
Yeah. What'd you think about her character?
Yeah. What'd you think about Maz?
Cool. See, we have opposites here. I thought meh.
Oh, really?
Like, who is this? Get out of here.
Yeah.
Bring the Jedis back.
Yeah. I did.
They do at the end.
I did love that she called Chewbacca her boyfriend.
Yeah. There was some. There was some cute. Dialogue. Fast forward.
Yeah. Let's get to
no. I'm
the
saying
stuff.
that's what I thought.
No. Yeah. You're like, all right. Here's a little lull, which is obvious. Like the whole thing in Maz's castle was set up for Finn to be a coward, and then be forced into.
This is why I'm so excited about the Ahsoka series, is because in a Star Wars movie, I'm in.
Yeah.
But we've got 2 hours. Don't introduce just random characters and just have them just sitting around chatting. Like, I need lightsabers, right? In a series, you can tell a longer story. You can develop the characters better. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
In 2 hours, I don't got time for this.
Yeah, especially if they're not going to do anything.
Where's the Falcon? Where's the X-Wings? Explosions?
Yep.
Jedi. If there's talking, it should be Jedi to Jedi. Or Jedi involved. Or Sith.
I think that as I get older, I go that route, but I have to remember that this is for kids. It's one of the things that they talk about a lot on Tatooine Sons is that Star Wars is made for kids outside of the Andor series, which have you watched?
No.
Oh, dude, it's so good.
I know, I've heard.
But outside of that series, like Star Wars is made for kids. So the introduction of new characters that are weird and that are fun and have little quippy and sense of humor, right? That when those things happen, it's enough to like give the median audience of 12 an opportunity to like take a breath so that they can come back up to the next thing and kind of recharge their battery. Well, they get captured there, and then you see the reveal of Starkiller Base. So as we're wrapping up with your rating of 7,
I would like to hear 5 minutes of questions from your squiggle page.
I want to know, like, what are the things that you take away? Because in that end, we've got Starkiller Base being destroyed, much like the Death Star. We have a single X-Wing being the one that gets through and is able to do it, much like the Death Star.
We have a pretty cool duel in the forest.
We also have a small invasive team that goes into Starkiller Base, much like the Death Star, in order to take down the shields, like they did with the Death Star. So that the X-Wing pilot could get rid of it.
And an elderly sage that sacrifices himself for the betterment of the team to escape.
Like we
like
did
the
with
Death Star in Episode 4.
Yeah, so we talked about some of that stuff. Very creative stuff, J.J. Abrams.
What questions?
What other questions you have as we wrap?
I feel good that we got to get
Camden
a couple.
becomes a Star Wars Episode 7.
We got to get a couple of punches
Yeah, we did.
on the
We
movie.
did get a couple of jabs in.
That again, overall, I
liked
enjoyed it.
I think
I thought it was a good
7.
movie.
I think 7 is a solid rating for this.
But you'll find this, especially as you get older, is you just things are tinged bitter a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. And that's why
It's hard to resist.
And you know what changes that? You know what
and,
changes that? And we're going to find this out hopefully in like 6 to 12 months. TRT might change that for Danley. That's what we're going to see. Testosterone replacement therapy might be,
I
the
started
thing that changes
I started
that.
setting that up. I talked to my doctor about it.
The doctor was like, 12 more pounds, and then we'll talk about TRT.
No, she said, yeah, we'll set you up an appointment. I was like, how much is this going to cost? She said, $150. I was like, no,
Yep, sorry.
I'm not doing that. If it's a $200 just to talk about it,
Yeah.
nah, we're not getting into a long-term thing yet. So I'm postponing that. Questions?
Why does BB-8 sound like a basketball?
He sounds like a basketball.
Every time he hits the ground for any reason, it sounds like a basketball hitting the
Oh,
ground.
yeah, probably because Foley used a basketball or something like that.
Like, it sounds exactly like a basketball every time.
BB-8 is one of the biggest flexes on Neil deGrasse Tyson that I've ever seen. So he did some interview where he was like, oh, yeah, I think the new Star Wars is cool, but BB-8's impossible. They have it go up hills and all this kind of stuff and blah, blah, blah. And a ball that's that round would never be able to do that in sand. And one of the robotics guys did a duet of him doing that. And then he's got the controls for BB-8 and he's like, really? Shoom, and BB-8 just launches over this sand dune. And he's like, he's not smooth, Neil. And then that's it. And then it ends. I'm like, that's... If you're gonna slam dunk on somebody,
So Neil was assuming zero friction.
yeah, that the BB-8 would never be able to do that, and so he did this whole thing. His head wouldn't be able to float on the top and all that if they didn't have everything right.
Maybe physicists don't know everything.
Yeah, yep. So
Maybe science is wrong
An
sometimes.
yeah. Well, according to the robotics guy, oh yeah, it was.
I just keep shoehorning politics into
yeah,
this. I'll
for
stop.
sure. But
I'll stop. I know y'all want me to stop.
That's my favorite flex.
That is pretty fun.
In Star Wars is, BB-8 could never do that. It's scientifically impossible, but it was cool for the movie. And the robotics guy's like, really?
It works
and he,
in real life.
Dude, he launched BB-8 over a sand dune.
That's cool.
Yeah. What else you got?
Sure.
We
It's
just
our
haven't said it.
catchphrase.
Yeah, we haven't said it this episode.
What
else?
Is the new Death Star thing...
Star Killer Base?
Yeah, that thing. Is it just a planet ripped in half? Because it has, like, mountains and stuff on the surface.
It eventually is ripped in half when it's destroyed. But
No,
it's a weapon that was designed through the core of the planet.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
Yep.
So yeah, they harvested a planet essentially to weaponize it.
Why is 3PO here?
Because
Because there's a contract for Anthony Davis.
Anthony Daniels. But no, it was to honor the original intent of George Lucas. Was that all of the Star Wars movies were meant to be seen through the eyes of the droids? Like they're the ones that are telling the story. And so you can't have 7, 8, and 9 without the droids being present. And they're talking about
I
a
love that
new
question.
BB-8 is
series.
here. He's fine.
But it's those two droids are your continuity, and so the reason you have
R2's like dead for most of the movie.
the reason that you have them and BB-8 is that the idea with part of the sequel trilogy is to pass the torch to the next generation, and then BB-8 may be part of that is one of the theories.
But
There's another droid that gets
I love
introduced
that
later.
question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Why is C-3PO
Why is
here?
C-3PO here? Yeah.
Like the set,
Great
He's
question.
a jerk.
The way he shows up is like they're getting out of the ship. It shows Leia, and then he just like pops into frame.
He's like,
hey!
and everyone's like, oh no.
And he's got like a red arm or something.
Yeah, he's like, I know you might not recognize me.
because of my arm. Like, no.
Get out of here.
You think C-3PO's colorblind since Anakin never finished him? Like, maybe that's one of the things that never got finished.
Well, he knows he has a red arm.
He knows he has a new arm.
I'm pretty sure he has.
Does he say that it's red?
I think so.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Tell us in the comments, Tina.
Uh,
This is great right here.
absolutely.
The long and pause is my favorite part of this.
That was the best part.
Was as I've got dusty durian still like floating around in the back of my throat.
One more question.
Yeah,
has-
one last question. What else you got?
Has Luke just been like standing on that mountain for like
Great.
Just standing there ominously for 20 years.
I will say that last shot is the best bit of acting I've ever seen Mark Hamill do.
Ooh.
Him turning around and staring at Ray.
That's the most convincing acting I've seen of Mark Hamill.
That is pretty funny.
Even in all the animated stuff that he's done.
And it's a great question to end on, too.
Yeah, there you go.
He's just been standing there waiting.
Yeah, he's just been standing there waiting on the entire time.
He's been standing there tweeting.
Yeah, so episode 8, you get to meet Turbis the Porg, a canon Star Wars creature that was named by the guys over at Tatooine Sons, thanks to their interaction with Ryan Johnson. They're a faithful founding member of Christian Nerd HQ. So
they
you get to
actually
meet.
Named it?
Yeah, they actually get to name it. Yeah, so we may talk a little bit about that story next time when we get together. What storyline are you looking most to see furthered and or wrapped up in episode 8?
Luke.
You're looking forward to seeing Luke.
100%.
100%. Yep. All right. Well, there you go. We in Star Wars Episode 7, we lost 6 planets, 1 scoundrel, 1 radar off the Millennium Falcon, and 2 childhoods, as mine and Danny's were just supremely crushed as soon as it came out. Thank you guys for watching the Reverend and the Reprobate. Make sure to like, subscribe, ding the little bell so you get notifications whenever new episodes come out. Check the show notes for all the amazing shows that are part of the Christian Nerd HQ network.
Special.
You guys stay hard, keep jamming. We'll see ya.